everybody.
Oh, God.
Oh, here we go. I didn't
just
say
died.
hinterlands, okay?
No, I just disengaged off a cliff.
Well, everybody, that's our coffee talk, and thank you all for coming.
YouTube copyright. YouTube copyright claim for disengaging off the cliff. There was wind sounds.
Hey, everybody, this is Toray, and we're at another week of Coffee Talk. We got Epic Danny here, we got Havanas and Nalagang. Let's go down the week on anything that's been going on. Let's start with Danny. Danny, what do you got this week going?
I had the luxurious glory of jury duty. Yay.
Yay!
Woo!
Let's go, Dan. Let's go, Dan.
Took them 41 years to grab me,
Wow.
but they finally did. It was traffic court, sat there for 2 hours, and then the clerk said, "Okay, everybody, looks like we're not going to need you, so we're just waiting for the judge to dismiss you." Yada yada yada, and
You had the rest of the day off.
pretty much.
You know, legally, you're supposed to go back to work.
So, I can only... My only hope there / fear was that Dan had convicted someone who's innocent, and then they look across the board and look across the room and they go, "You! When I get out, you're done."
It was traffic court anyway, so
I
These
didn't
people
make a
disputing
left-hand
tickets.
yeah, pretty much.
I didn't make a left-hand turn. I'll fucking kill you. Okay.
So other than that, my week's been good. Working on, I got all the videos recorded. I just got to render them for my latest transmog series. I even now have the full blood set, so that's pretty much a done deal. Might have another one in the works for Barman. I've got a couple of interesting things that I'm thinking of looking into a set for. I just got to do some research. And other than that, just my usual weight loss journey video and all that other fun stuff.
Yay!
Hey!
Coolio.
How?
Well, first I'd like to give a heartfelt, condolences to Doizor's family.
Yes.
This past week, Tor and I had happened to log on WoW, and his brother was getting his account and settling his affairs on the game. So, Doiz, well, we miss you, man. Never
Yes.
forget.
In the memory of Doizor's attending salute. That's all in the budget, so we make it do 5.
We had 5.
It's not in the budget, I'm sorry. Those things cost money.
You spent the rest on Cheetos and Coke, didn't you?
And hookers.
Hookers.
What about the Cheetos?
They're scattered around Danny's room as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
No, not much. I've been streaming. I've been working my ass off IRL. And I've been lazily uploading my stream footage to YouTube in hopes to claim all of the 69 cents that I make for every video.
We have enough for a can of Coke.
Oh, yeah. That's about it, really. That's been my week, the last 2 weeks in a nutshell.
Now the gag! What's up with you?
Well, it's been a little bit of a bum week for me. So, started with my work. It seems to basically be that I will not be able to continue at my workplace. Because financially, he doesn't have the money to have someone keep on board.
That sucks.
But while I'm going to be working there, he said I can only work there for a maximum of 12 months, starting from October. But I will get more paid. Basically more than... I think it's triple amount of money?
Yeah, his paycheck will basically triple for the next 12 months to
Well, within those 12 months, he has to find another job.
That's what I'm currently doing. I'm currently applying to the brewery that we have here.
Ooh. Peter
Which by the
Griffin.
You see what happens now. It's like, now I can't make the podcast. Ooh, what the fuck is this? Podcast?
Quahog.
Well, we also make sodas there, so
Nice.
I'm gonna get diabetes. And other news,
Diabetes.
I heard
Because-
this is more like a more depressing sound. The teacher that I had in school, daughter died a couple of days ago.
Oh.
Had her funeral today. She was 17 years old.
Oh, that sucks.
For the past
that's
3 years, she has been battling cancer.
unfortunate shit loss.
Yeah, but it was a very beautiful ceremony. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Damn.
But that's what's been going on for me all week.
Just to add to mine, I just want to say, if Sin is watching, if he watches the video, I'm sorry, his dogs passed away this morning. His two little puppies died this morning.
Aw,
Hmm.
I hate hearing when
Yeah.
dogs die. Especially
He's had them. Well, they're not puppies, but like they're a smaller breed of dog. He's had them for 11 years, so he was quite upset this morning when he found out that was happening.
Hmm.
Aww.
With me, nothing's really much. I've been playing my rogue all week. Got him to 100. Got him pretty geared quickly. He's 660, I think, now.
Nice.
That's pretty much it with me.
You'll be able to solo Dragon Soul any day now.
Yeah, the only reason why I leveled up my rogue real quick was because I want to solo Dragon Soul and finally get I have 2 legendaries to go, the bow and the daggers. So, knock out that one.
If you get to 640, you will easily be able to do it.
Oh yeah.
On heroic,
Oh,
heroic.
It-
no, I want to do
it also-
heroic.
Ah!
last time.
I would say
it won't
660.
matter. It won't really matter. There is no real difference between heroic and normal in terms of the legendary drops.
Well, shit hurts.
No.
Yeah.
So
I just did a 25-man heroic, a 25-man
I mean,
normal.
I farm it 25-man heroic on Toray with no problem, but he's also almost 700 DPS level. His DPS gear is almost 700, so
Yeah.
it's a big difference.
A
Mhm.
little bit.
Just a little.
And I've been getting hooked on Disney Infinity, the figurines. Yeah.
Sell out. Sell out.
But then I stopped collecting Disney Infinity this week because it's a lot of commitment into it. So I just collected the Marvel and some of the Star Wars, but it's a lot of commitment. I mean, there's so many figures in. So I'm gonna start fresh and wait for Lego's Dimensions to come out, which has some of the coolest. Like
Doctor Who.
they have Doctor Who. They
Enough
got
said.
they got the full. No,
That-
no, no,
that-
no,
that-
no.
that's all you gotta
No,
say.
I could
Just
beat
Doctor Who.
that. I could beat that. Back to the Future original voices of Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. Their original voices in the game.
That's a shaky situation.
Ghostbusters are in there too, and they have the Simpsons too.
Nice.
Doctor
So,
Who. That,
you can
that's
go-
that's
you
all
can-
you had to say.
What it is
That's all you had
when
to
you
say.
buy the packs, you can go into their world. Just like in the Lego movies, you can, everyone has like different realities, in different dimensions. You can go to there. You can just keep jumping dimensions, going into different worlds depending on what figures you collect. So it's pretty
Awesome.
cool. It's a great idea.
Yeah, that's
So-
pretty cool.
So I'm starting to collect that. It comes out the 27th.
Doctor Who. That's all you had to say.
Doctor. Okay, so we're gonna go into our topic for this coffee talk. This coffee talk's topic is we're gonna go a little. It's not gonna be about WoW or any MMO really. We're gonna go back into the consoles, big old console wars. We're gonna even go to the very beginning of where we first played our first game, and our fondest memory and our most biggest regret towards gaming. So, we're going to start off with everyone's first console. The very first one you remember getting and playing. And we're going to start off with Danny. Danny, What you
First
had?
one I played.
First one you received.
First one I received. The old Nintendo Entertainment System.
The old NES. And what was the first game you had for it?
It was the Kung Fu game.
Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Shang Fu?
It was Shaq Fu. It wasn't
No,
Shaq
it was just called Kung Fu, and it was basically this
remember
multi-story
that.
thing, and you would go through and you would basically punch and kick these guys that came to you. You would dodge these little dragons that would fall from the ceiling, and then at the end of each floor there was a boss that you had to deal with.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Continue on, Dan.
poor Vader needing attention.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then, of course, got the staples, Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda and all that.
Did your NES have Rob or no?
Oh yeah. I bought Rob and that weird game that he came with.
Gyromite.
Yeah, Gyromite.
Yes.
Gyromite.
I never played it.
Well, you weren't missing much.
I saw it and it's not good.
No?
Well, basically, what it was, the game was basically you had blue and red pillars, and when Rob was set up, you had these two little things that you would put spinning gyros on, in order to raise or lower either the blue or the red pillars, depending on which slot you had it on.
Dan.
And it was just ridiculous because you had to grab the gyro, you had to put it on the spinner to get it spinning, then you had to pick it up, and then you had to put it on the button for it to hit the button on the controller, and it was just okay. This one's going on, I better get it spinning again, and it was just.
Dan, did you cheat?
Yes.
At a certain point, I was using my feet to control, and it was bad. I had my toes to control the buttons for the levers, and I'm just moving the guy.
I would also like to point out it's pronounced Euro.
Euro.
Shut up. Gyro.
It actually is pronounced gyro and with raw.
I know. I'm just doing it to piss Tor off.
Yes. All right. Then. So, how about you, Hal? Your very first gaming console when you had?
The very first one I received, Tor, was the Sega Genesis with the upgrade pack on it. I don't know if you remember that.
The Jaguar?
I believe so. The one that it made like a mini tower where your game.
That's with the CD. You said that you put the Genesis on top of the CD tray, like a CD case, and you put the CD in there. Is that it?
Nah, that's the Sega CD that you were thinking of. That's the Saturn.
No, the original Sega CD was you take the Genesis and you mount it on top of this.
There's that.
Case.
I had what was it? It was the cartridge pack for it. It was because there was like 4 or 5 different things you could get for the Sega Genesis to upgrade it. Mine happened to be the one that upgraded the cartridge speed, I guess. It made the games play faster. Something I can't remember what the whole purpose of it was. But that was what I played, and it came, and I got it like at a flea market, I guess. Well, it's like at a yard sale. My uncle got it for me, and he bought with it a game. I think it might be like something that was called like Dragon Commander or something. I talked about it before, where you basically just control a dragon and you go incinerate people who are escaping a village, and that was the whole point.
Incinerate.
That was the whole point of it.
Purged.
Why face the flames of Felfiros?
So,
Yeah, it was
our pal Nalagag, what was your first system?
My first gaming console was the Nintendo 64.
You're making me feel old. Really?
Yeah. Hey, have you seen my TV?
ain't it though?
Wow.
First console I owned was a Nintendo 64, and I think I owned in total 3 games on that system because we were poor when we grew up. I was like Super Mario Party, and then there was a very underrated one, F-Zero X.
Yeah,
It was
that
a-
was.
It was a
It's like a
sci-fi racing game.
Yeah.
Oh my
Which-
goodness.
Which, fun fact, the game ran at 60 frames per second.
Yep.
When
Wow.
most games nowadays cannot run higher than 30.
On a PC, mind you.
Yeah. Or fuck, even the Xbox One or PlayStation 4,
Yep.
which is supposed to be way superior.
That is
Mhm.
true. Wow. With me, whoa, I'm gonna blow you guys' minds away. My very first,
Ong mate.
I would have probably that I can remember. I want to say Atari, but it's not. It wasn't Atari. It was the Intellivision. Was my very first console.
Oh,
The what?
television.
Intellivision.
In television.
It was basically the counterpart to an Atari. It was the other company.
Oh, okay.
You know, so Intellivision made their own company, and it looked just like the Atari. It actually had. No. Sorry, that was ColecoVision. But Intellivision, you know, it used to be like the most. I had almost every console there was, as a kid.
Oh, I lied.
Why?
The Genesis wasn't. Well, it's not the oldest one I had, but it was the first one I had. Never mind. The oldest one I had was. Do you remember the, like. I think it was, like, the Archimedes machine?
I have
The,
no
the
idea what that
Acorn?
is.
Acorn Archimedes?
Is that some
It was-
Canadian thing?
No, it was basically, like. You know the big floppy disks?
Yes.
Yes.
It was one of those things. I
Oh,
had
God.
one of them.
Like a Commodore
I had one of
64.
Well, kinda, yeah, but it was like a off-brand or something of it. It looked like a little computer, but, you know, bigger.
So yeah, I had Intellivision. I had almost every console there was growing up as a kid. I had Atari,
yeah.
Intellivision, ColecoVision. So yeah, and
All three versions of the Atari.
two versions.
You stopped after the second?
My brother had the 7400, so I played when I went over to visit him. So
Ah.
That piece of shit.
yeah, that was like one of the biggest flops. I think that was the last console they made before they stopped making Ataris.
Yeah, they went to, what was this? Yeah, Sega.
Yeah.
Then they just started making games.
All right, so out of the console wars back then it was just, you know, there was only like three companies really: Atari, and back then it was just Atari and ColecoVision. And television was basically going out of the market there. But it was Atari and Coleco, and then Nintendo came out, and Nintendo just like basically blew everybody away. Followed by, after Nintendo, came Sony.
Well, for a long while, Nintendo was just like, oh, the thing that we've made is obsolete now. Let's turn it into a handheld.
Do you
And
remember?
make it more.
Do you remember when Nintendo was so popular? They would make the most retarded game ever. Sorry to use a retarded word. I know it's trying to be PC here, but the most stupidest games ever made. I mean, they just like would make anything into
Like
a
I'm looking
game.
apart. He's a plumber. Who jumps on who eats mushrooms and
Hey, there was a one of the base Atari games was a game where you were basically a square, and you had no inventory space. You just had one thing, and you had to decide what you would carry around. And your sword was like this little triangle.
Yes, it was
Still
almost as
still
bad
a
as
better-
Atari.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
Like, remember Atari? That whole thing about the landfill full of ET games,
Yes!
Oh yes.
which is true. IGN
Yes, it is.
IGN had a cruise. You go down there, and they fished it all out. And there's a whole landful of ET games out. I had ET, and I think I still have ET somewhere in one of those boxes.
Hidden in one of your dark coffers.
Fernherm.
He's got a dark coffer full of, like, you know, a finger and everything else that he used to get that game.
So, what do you think was your most memorable game? I would even go far as per system, because sometimes you might have a favorite game. You don't have to give every game, but if you have one per system, say so. But let's start off with Danny. You want to start off all the way at your first system?
Didn't really have a favorite game on the NES. My next one was the Genesis, and that one I liked a game called Cyberball. It was basically a football game that you played with robots.
Is that then? Some of them had like one wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that game.
And let's see. On when I got my PlayStation, my favorite game was the original XCOM. On my 360, it's a toss-up because there's just so many good games out there. Any of the three BioShocks.
Good choice.
The two Elder Scrolls games. Another good favorite of mine was Final Fantasy XII. I still have the collector's edition on that, even though I don't own a PS2.
Who was the hero of that one? I know my heroes. Oh.
Wasn't that what's his face with the knockoff gun sword? Can't remember. Squall? I'm thinking Squall.
No,
No, it wasn't
it
Squall.
was.
Was it Leon?
It was some like orphan kind of kid.
Was he the one with the blonde hair?
Yeah.
That was his laugh. I remember it. That was his laugh. That was the laugh in the game that they recorded.
Is he the one that
No,
wore?
that's Titus from Final Fantasy X.
Is that the one where his costume looked a lot like Kingdom Hearts? He had the
Sora?
short shorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Was wearing sort of like a vest, and you wondered if he was a guy or a gal.
Yeah, and isn't it the one at the very first, in the beginning of the game, you're playing that sport underwater in a dome of
No,
water?
that's 10.
Oh, that's 10.
10.
That's 10.
See?
I went
am
into
I the
a Final
only-
Fantasy discussion.
Am I the only one that just to end this Final Fantasy discussion? Am I the only one that finds it ironic that they named it Final Fantasy because it was going to be the last game ever produced, and then that made them like literally bank for life?
See, I thought this was the Final Fantasy. No, it was
It's
not.
only the beginning.
And now they're working on 15.
The Final Fantasy was old when this world was young.
They're also remaking it.
Yeah.
One of them.
Which,
Don't know which
Seven?
one.
which also
7.
had one of the worst movies ever.
Advent Children was best.
Advent Children was good, but what's the name of the movie, actual movie that they made? What was the title of it? Final
It was
Fantasy.
the one that-
Final Fantasy: The Spirit Within.
The Spirit,
Spirit
Within.
Within.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
That's the hinterlands of Final Fantasy movies.
The special effects were really, really good, but the story had zero to do with Final Fantasy except that the planet was called Gaia. That's
A
it.
piece of wet paper had more story than that whole
That had
fucking...
zero. You could have named that anything you wanted. The Return of Gaia, the Gaia's Fate. You could have called it anything you want. It had nothing to do with Final Fantasy. Nothing. I was watching it and I'm like, I'm waiting for a summon to happen. When are they going to summon something and then fight? No.
Wow, this is the Dirge of Cerberus all over again.
I actually read the book. The book was no better.
Oh, for once the book wasn't as good. Everybody's like,
Shots fired.
people always like, oh, the book is much better.
Not in this
Really?
case.
Okay, Hal, your most memorable game. You can
Most
start
memorable-
any system.
My most memorable game was, honestly, original PlayStation, Spyro Year of the Dragon. Best game I've ever played to this date. I love it to pieces and continue to play it on an emulator on the computer. So that was one of the best games I've ever had. The other one was for the GameCube, I believe, and it was called Time Splinters 2. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
It
was
actually sounds very familiar.
Time Splinters 2 was basically you and your friend are co-oping through the entire game. If your friend dies, consider your levels over. You cannot beat it with one person.
Was that a shooter game?
It was a third-person shooter? Or first-person? I think it was either a third...
Actually, you had a gun and you had to shoot at the screen and something like that?
No, it was on... Just use the controller, but if your partner died, basically, if your partner died, you could revive him, but you had a short amount of time. If you didn't, all of the creatures and bosses on the map grew 2 times as hard to kill.
Wow.
Yeah. A old friend of mine, we stayed up for 2 days straight beating the game, and it was fucking hard. The only other one I really like and is memorable now is Xbox One's Diablo 3. I think it's the best version of Diablo I've played, and I've played the PlayStation 3 and the computer version.
Nice.
That's about it for me.
Nalagag?
I think most memorable games of me playing would have to be the PlayStation 2 era. It would be the Sly Cooper trilogy.
Great, good game trilogy. That's a good game.
My mother still plays that.
Yeah.
Well, you have a choice. There's 1, 2, 3. They recently made not recently, but they made a 4th one for PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank, Gladiator.
Ha! Yeah, which, if you're wondering why it's called Gladiator for him, the US and Canada got it as Deadlocked.
Never
If
played.
anyone was wondering. And Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked was a really good game. Actually,
Oh yeah, I heard of it. Yes.
I actually, when you go watch the stream version of this later, this is Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked right here. I've got the case right here on my desk.
Ooh.
Other than that, it would probably be some Dragon Ball Z game. You know how many there are.
Kame, Hame.
There are as many games as many times he's done that.
Wow. With me, let's go back. For
Get
The
ready to
dawn
sleep,
of time.
doom, 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 doom. I'm not gonna even go to Atari because Atari's just I can't even.
If you had a favorite game at Atari, I would die.
I rocked
I
the
just-
shit out. I rocked the shit out of Pong, mate.
Yeah,
Pong's
ping pong.
best.
I played Pong and Centipede and backwards compatible Pac-Man.
My friends and I would play Pong and then get blasted on marijuana every fucking night.
And wonder where the ball went. It goes on the screen and just disappears and magically leaves
Gone.
the screen. It's like, what the hell?
What's up with
I would
that?
say I had the game Elevator Action. If you remember playing that game,
No.
I had it for my Commodore 64, and this game sticks out really well because it was illegal copied. Back then,
Ooh.
you would just copy the files and put it on another floppy disk, but this
Yeah.
game wouldn't run. Right, so the only way to start it is pop in the disk, do /run. As soon as the game starts, you have to actually hit the keyboard with all your might, and it would start up. You have to mash every key on your keyboard for it to start, and then it would start up the game.
Well then.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely want to play that game.
Well, there was some games like the original Wasteland. The original Wasteland, you actually had to copy the discs and play off of the copies, because it would actually save the changes onto the disc itself of what you did and you could it just opened it up to unlimited exploits, because what you could do is when it said enter disk yada yada, what you could do is you could put the original disk in to get it to load fresh stuff, and then just save and then exit and reload,
Oh,
and
wow.
and you could you could go through things and get that one thing you needed.
That sounds about as entertaining as Hey You Pikachu, where you yelled into the fucking mic and your Pikachu would get startled.
Well, it could continue considering that if you were lucky, it took like maybe 15 minutes for the game to load.
Yeah.
Yeah, those days where it took forever for games to load. Oh my goodness.
It's like a World of Warcraft splash screen when you're trying to enter a new area.
Because I used to play the SSI Dungeons and Dragons games, and those things came on 4 double-sided floppy disks. And if you got to a certain area, you'd have to move to a different disk, and you would be waiting like 5 minutes just to get to the next area.
That's ridiculous.
Well, when you only have 64K of memory at the time.
My watch runs on 64K.
Okay, yeah.
It's on my PlayStation right now.
My toaster doubles that when it toasts things, so I mean, it's pretty cool.
Alright, let me see. For the Sega Genesis, I would have to go with Phantasy Star, the very first one.
I never could get into that.
I never got a chance to play it, but I heard it was
I
great.
remember Christmas Day. I remember how exactly this, because I paid $100 for that game. It was Christmas Day. I got money for Christmas. I put all the money together. I said I got $100. Ran down to the store and got Final Fantasy for $100. I remember that because that was the most a game ever cost, because that was one of the very first games that actually had a battery to save.
You mean Phantasy Star or
Fantasy Star?
Final Fantasy.
No, Phantasy Star.
Okay, you said Final Fantasy.
Sorry, it was Phantasy Star. It was
gods.
It was the very first game that ever had a battery built in. So, it was one of those rare. Followed by I think. No, sorry, it was the second game with a battery built, because the original was Zelda. Remember, Zelda had the first battery.
Right.
For my Sega CD, it would have to be Night Trap, because of the whole big killing. It was all over the news. It was one of the very first games that actually killed females in it, and there was a big controversy on it.
I never heard of it, but I wasn't alive, so.
Oh.
So dinosaurs roam the earth, man.
With Nintendo, I would have to remember the game Gunsmoke.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember that game, but everyone who did not cheat with Gunsmoke, putting the gun all the way to the screen and shooting.
That's like with the old, what was it, the Duck Hunt?
Yes.
You used to do that too?
Yes.
Yeah, Duck Hunt, I used to cheat on that all the fucking time.
Just put it right up to the screen. Goom, goom, goom.
Goom.
Look how good I am. I'm
I'm more gooder.
Your friends would come over and be like, how'd you get the high score? And I'm like, fucking good at the game.
I didn't shoot the dog.
I didn't have to put him down.
Yep. He's my dog, Pa.
And I'm gonna end mine's with.
Ooh, hold on.
Did he fall? Did he fall off his seat?
Yeah, he fell off his seat and opened the door.
And he's grabbing a snack. He's coming back. The first addicting game I ever played for for any of the games, I would say my top favorite is SOCOM. I was so addicted to SOCOM that it's not funny. I would play night. I would be at work and think of good sniping spots at my job, and I worked at a school, so I was thinking about good sniping spots where I would take out everybody.
Did you practice on the school kids?
What the hell did I come back to?
You don't want to know.
Are you like putting a bomb together there, Hal?
No, someone just called and I missed the phone call.
Uh oh.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, so let's go on to your most valuable prized possession out of your consoles. The one thing that you hold above everything else. Danny, sorry.
Probably my copy of the collector's edition of Final Fantasy 12. I even still hold on to the memory card, even though I no longer own a PlayStation 2.
Why is it so valuable to you?
It was just a good game, and it's the only Final Fantasy the only Final Fantasy holdout that I had when I got my newest consoles up to when I got my 360.
Hal, how about you?
Similar to that, I have my old GameCube save file of NHL. What the hell was it? 04, I'm thinking. And that is what got me through when I was really, really sick. It was the only thing I could really play without throwing up and looking at the TV. I was sick for about a month and a half.
That's what you do when you get meth.
Well, I mean, fuck, what? I was like, 9 years old? I had to rock the meth.
All the cool kids were doing it.
All the cool kids were doing it. Like, they were injecting heroin and shit. I had to do something. But no,
Too
it was,
bored, had to go to bed.
yeah, I went right to meth because I was like, fuck, that's too expensive.
Nalagag, how about you?
Honestly, I don't own any really valuable thing other than the actual PlayStation itself, because it's actually the first generation of the PlayStation. The first one that was ever
The
made.
gray
The
one?
bigger, not the gray one.
That big fucking,
The big
white
black one.
Oh, the black one.
Oh, wow.
Old school. The first generation that ever came out. And probably also the first generation of PlayStation 3, because PlayStation 3 originally had backwards compatibility. They scrapped that idea later on because it was too expensive. It was like $100 more than the 360 at that time. Basically how the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 was originally.
With me, it's my most valuable, but because it's the most sentimental for me. I have a Vectrex system. If any of you guys don't know what it is, look it up. It was the very first gaming console that came with a TV built into the console. It was black and white, and you put the cartridges on the side, but it came with these films that you lay on the screen, and you can, it became color.
Oh, okay.
And it's the most memorable for me, and my prized possession is because my grandmother bought it for me.
Oh.
So, I still have it. I'm looking right at it right there, and I love that because it reminds me of my grandmother.
He's looking right at it. He's staring at it.
She shelled out the money, and it was very expensive that time to get it. So she got it for me, and I cherish it. I mean, it still works. I love it.
That's awesome, Tor.
So, this one's gonna be a nice one. Your worst gaming decision ever made. If you have more than one, it's fine, but try to give me your worst. And since Danny is loving it, let's start with Danny.
2 words. Watch Dogs.
Whoa!
You didn't like it? It was okay.
I did not like it. I was watching watching all of the the TV things, and I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. You're going to be this hacker, and you're going to be doing good things, and you're going to be going around and stealing from people, but it's for a good cause. And then when I got I was so hyped up in it, I had I had gotten the game, a collector's edition guide, and the DLC for it. And when I got the game and started playing it, I was like, okay, where's the hacking? Where can I be a good vigilante hacker?
Where's the dogs?
Dan's all pissed off. I paid to watch some dogs in this game, and there's no watching of dogs.
I'm not even a dog in this game.
But I just
played the
couldn't.
game for 9 hours and didn't see a single dog.
It's supposed to star Michael Vick.
Well, no, it was just I had trouble getting in with the character, the main character of the game, because I was like, okay, you're a blankety McBlank blank. Why do I want to play you? And it got so bad, I just like, okay, I put the game on the shelf and moved on to something else.
Damn. Do you got like a shelf of shame, or?
Yeah, you should, Danny. Make a shelf of shame.
Not currently, but that's the only game at least at this far, that I was very not happy getting.
Okay.
Hal, you better say what I think you're gonna say.
No, it's not what you think I'm gonna say. I have to say the biggest travesty I have ever done. Like it is. This was to myself. It was my own damn fault. I passed up a chance to own one of the first original Conker's Bad Fur Day cartridges.
Why?
Because when I was younger, I was in the mindset of, that squirrel isn't cool.
Which became one of the coolest games ever.
I regret it to this day. It was one of the, like, you know how they would release, they would give, like, certain, like, if you were, like, a subscriber to, like, Nintendo magazine or whatever the hell it was back. Yeah, or whatever the magazine was back then for it. They gave out copies of the game. My friend had a copy of the game that was given to him. He beat it. He wanted to know if I wanted it. I refused it.
Oh my goodness.
What did you think I was going to say? I'm just curious.
That Warrior game that you paid like 99 cents for that was just
horrible. Oh, no, I mean it had a better love story than every game ever, so.
What
game is that?
What was the name of that?
Garshnap Temple of the Dragon.
Just saying it makes you laugh.
Sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons module.
No, what it was
a little bit about that horrible
what that thing was when I first was introduced to Steam and I started talking to Tor again after 5-6 months after I first knew him. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I got a couple cents on this card here that I have, and I think I'll buy a couple games on the Steam sale. Hey, there's a game here for 99 cents. Should have been my fucking first clue. 99 cents. Where can you go wrong? I'm paying $1 for a game. If I could get that $1 back, I would. Because it's a piece of shit. You basically are a homeless guy with a sword who you're thrown into a story in which you're fighting on a platform to escape giant spikes, but you can't avoid the spikes. You got to get hit by the spikes. It's coded poorly. It's just a garbage game, and I would never recommend playing it.
At least it's not Bad Rats.
It could be Bad Rats. It's very close to Bad Rats.
Nalagag?
I don't really have anything really memorable. One thing at least I regret was buying a Nintendo GameCube.
No!
I never owned one, so I'm kind of happy I never owned one.
Oh my god, Robotech Battlecry was one of the best games ever for that thing.
Yeah, but that was a personal decision for me. Because I bought the system, I bought Super Mario Sunshine, and...
There's your mistake right there.
You bought Sunshine, that was the mistake.
But that was a good game. I quite enjoyed it, it was a good game. It was the thing is, 2 months later, the console died.
Oh.
So I ended up basically buying a console where they weren't supporting games anymore for the console.
They had a few online games. What were they that were really popular?
I don't know. I'm not really familiar that much with GameCube.
GameCube had online games?
I only own 2 games, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the GameCube had 2 online games.
No.
That you could play. I can't remember what it was.
I don't believe. I don't think so.
Didn't they get the rights to Phantasy Star Online?
They might have, but I don't think there was ever... You couldn't plug it into a internet connection. There was no internet cable for it.
I remember there being 2 games on on there that you can go online with. You're gonna have to Google that.
I mean, I'll Google it here for you, but I think you're wrong. Continue on, and I'll let you know.
That's pretty much it in terms of game. It would honestly be any Steam game that is multiplayer oriented. Frank, to be honest, like I don't know if you guys have heard this one. It's called Dungeon Land.
I think I've come across it.
It's basically, well, at that time I only know one mode, but apparently there's multiple modes. One of them is basically you are a dungeon master, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, and you have 3 other people who can play, or it's an AI, and your job is to basically just throw shit at them to make sure they die and cannot succeed as a game master.
Homeland, Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 Plus.
Okay, so there were a few online games, right?
Apparently they were online multiplayer, but how would you get online? There was no...
Maybe they had an adapter.
Maybe.
Might have.
The PlayStation, remember it had a screw-on adapter at one time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they just added it onto the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, because I remember I bought that screw-on adapter. That's how I used to play SOCOM and, what was that, that other MMO, I forgot the name of it. With me, I'm kind of, I didn't buy it, it was a gift, but I'm ashamed of owning it. I had the Virtual Boy.
Oh, the Virtual Boy.
You know what? I'm thinking back now. That explains so much about you. That motherfucker fried your brain. That's what's wrong with you.
I am not joking. After playing that, you would take it off, and you're blind. You're seeing red everywhere. Oh my goodness, you don't understand. I used to love playing the pinball. The pinball is one of the greatest games that they had on that. And
it's like I'm actually playing pinball, man.
I wouldn't even use the stands. I would lay on my bed and just lean it on my head and play like that. It was horrible when you took those off. Who would think of making it red? Why?
That thing gave people so many seizures and headaches. Ugh. It's worse than the Japanese anime. I mean, seriously.
It's horrible. Which is going to lead into the very first. A lot of us, I think we just discussed this a few times, but let's discuss it again. What was your first taste of online gaming? The very first time where you went, holy shit, this guy is across the world, across the United States. I'm playing with someone that's not next to me. Danny.
World of Warcraft.
That was your first MMO? Like your
Yep.
first time getting
Yep.
online and playing with someone that's not near you?
Yep.
Wow,
Really?
Danny. You're a late comer. Giggity.
But it's...
And what was your reaction to the first time you met someone that was not around you?
That was cool. You know, I was like, oh, this person's in another state, and I'm playing a game with them. And I was like, you know, cool.
And how do I trade again? You right click on their name and go to
Control I. Control I.
Control I. Hal, your first time.
I believe I said it was RuneScape.
That was your first time playing online?
I think that was my first time playing online, and the first person I've ever played with was a person who, now, I don't know, they said they were a chick. I don't know if they were a chick. But they said that they were a girl who lived all the way over in the Czech Republic.
Wow.
And, it was just such a cool experience, because, like, this person is not, you know, in the sense, real, but is a real person all the way across the world. And it's at that point that I knew the internet was the future.
Jeez. There's people outside of Canada? Oh.
Oh,
No,
Canada.
Just fuck it. You're a fucking idiot. I'm done
Nalagag,
talking.
which is one of the reasons we love the internet. Nalagag is overseas.
We got to meet him.
He's overseas, and we talk to him like he's right in the same room as we are.
He knows more about us than most of our real life friends know about us.
I know a lot of shit.
Now he's like, the fuck cross me. Fuck cross me.
First online experience I ever had, I was gonna say Unreal Tournament. But then I remember there was one other game, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the name. But it was a shooter game. My uncle played it. It was a period when my uncle lived with us because he couldn't afford rent, and we offered him to stay with us for a couple of months until he got his own place.
He offered to stay at your place for free, for nothing.
Well, he helped out. He took care of us when my mother was
Yeah.
here. But I went into his room and he was playing online first-person shooter. I was like, "Wow,
Was
this
it a
is
military?
Not really. It seems kind of like well, at that time, it seems to be more like the futuristic, like in the more likely later 2000 than the early 2000. But I remember, it's like he goes like, "Yeah, you want to try playing? Sure. How do I control? Because I've never played it.
What was it for? What was it for? PlayStation 2?
PC.
PC.
Yeah, it was a PC game. It's like a very old game. I don't even remember the name of it, but I remember I see it in the stores literally everywhere because it was like the big hit like one point.
I remember playing Battlefield back, the original, very first Battlefield.
Battlefield is also one of them. Also play Counter-Strike and Unreal. But when the really internet hit shine, I think either it has to be with WoW. Honestly, when I was really surprised, because that's when you started to know, like, oh, hey, this guy's from Sweden, this guy's from Norway, this guy's from Iceland, and we're all sitting here playing together.
Hey, and if I get a U.S. account, oh, this guy's from Brooklyn, this guy's from Canada, this one is from Texas. Ah.
This one has hookers in his room that are dead, and there's molding corpses.
Whatever.
Yeah. But don't you think? Sit back and think now. Honestly, isn't it a wonder that the only reason that we are like, basically friends is because we met through a game?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Doesn't it amaze you and just give you like just a shiver of hope for humanity that it can thrive and exist?
Yeah. Thanks to the
brings
people
interwebs.
together.
It brings people from all different countries together, all different creeds of life.
And
It's just awesome.
makes trolls.
Lots of trolls and guild thieves.
Yes.
I mean, hi.
With me, my first taste of internet gaming has to be back when on the PlayStation 2, when we got the little Ethernet thing. You pop it in the back and you put your little Ethernet cord in. Was EverQuest Online Adventures.
Evercrack.
Oh. Evercrack, yeah.
I never played EverQuest, but they had an EverQuest for your PlayStation, for PlayStation 2. It was exclusive. And that was my first taste of an MMO. And I remember typing to some guy, and he's like, "I'm in Japan." I'm like, "Holy shit!
Oh, I should be in Japan.
This guy's over here in Japan.
A soul.
We're very
What the
small
hell?
penis."
What the hell was that, Dan? Fucking Japanese Jar Jar Banks? Ooh, miso, sir! Ooh, misa got the small penis. Ooh.
Anyways.
Are you
Yes,
got my
I
shitty chicken?
You think I'll be sorry when you drive Toyota?
You damn Mongolians! So, I'm pretty much out of questions unless you guys want to throw anything to this topic. Any other questions you want to throw out there?
We can talk about the current console. We haven't talked about that.
Well, yeah. Most of us here are Xbox players, except for Danny.
And me. At the moment.
Well, at the moment, you're getting an Xbox. Can we? I don't know about Danny, but can we all agree that the Wii U is pretty much garbage?
Oh no, you're gonna make Now cry because he wants one now.
I want one because the sole fact of playing Super Mario Maker, I've been watching people play that game, and the game looks so fun. And you can be a total dick in that game and just make the levels as hard as possible.
I thought it was for the PC for a while, but apparently it's not.
I have no. It's just, I had the original Wii, and I played it for like maybe 30 minutes, the entire length of this console. It was so horrible.
Really?
I just couldn't get past it. It was just annoying. Nintendo really lost it. I mean, there's people that like, like the Super Mario Maker and like the Mario Kart, stuff like that. But I have no hope for Nintendo. I think they're gonna fold soon. Personally, I mean, they have a strong following in Japan, of course, because that's their central. But when we have Xbox and PlayStation here, and they're going neck and neck at it.
I think what you're gonna see is that maybe they'll go Sega route, where they just make games
And sell it to the companies.
and sell it to the other companies. They would make more that way, I think.
Or that would be Japan exclusive.
But then the other thing you gotta think of, and it's because I was watching Co-optional podcast there recently. It was one of the older episodes. They were talking about this whole thing. Do you think that maybe Nintendo just doesn't give a shit? Because how much are they making off of their handheld consoles? Seriously, they're probably making way more than they ever would off of an actual console.
Pokemon.
We were talking about this. I think, basically, besides Pokemon, they're what's the stamp figures, the
Amiibos.
That's it.
Well,
That's
they've
their
only made
moneymaker
8
now.
mil. They've made like an 8 to 9 mil on the Wii U.
Alone, yeah, and that's a flopped console. Let's just say that's a flopped console.
I mean, they're surviving, but not like Xboxes and PlayStation are. Like,
I don't know. We don't know what they're making a fiscal year from their handheld consoles. I think they're still in the green.
Comparing to other consoles, to be honest, like Xbox has made like 11 to 12 million, and then PlayStation has made 20 million of the new console.
see, I don't understand that. I don't find the PlayStation 4 that entertaining. I don't like many of the PlayStation games. I don't find them. Everyone brags on how great PlayStation games are, and it's the ultimate gaming console. I prefer the Xbox. I'm always on my Xbox. I love it.
Yeah, I prefer the Xbox too.
It's an amazing console. It's one of the best consoles out there. I mean, I use it more for watching TV and all that. But when I play the games are they're good. I love them.
Well, it's mainly because that getting a hold of an Xbox is way more difficult than getting a hold of a PlayStation. Like
maybe where you are, but over here they're like stacked everywhere.
It's anywhere. Yeah, that doesn't matter really where you are. Like if you look at it,
Christmas time is gonna be harder. So get your Xbox now.
If you basically go to a store, you see like 20 Xboxes, not 20 Xboxes, 20 PlayStations. You see like fucking 5 Xboxes just laying there, or they're not even there. Just they're sold out because they just can't get a hold of all of them once. And then there's also the restriction that they had originally that just turned people off and just went to Sony.
Oh yeah, where you region locked?
That was like region locked. There was like you have to pay to borrow. You couldn't let people borrow games. Then you could let people borrow games, but then they had to pay.
They screwed themselves on that, but they fixed themselves nicely with the reverse gaming.
They did.
Yeah.
With a new guy in charge and everything.
And then they pulled themselves together again when they're like, "Oh, your friends on the Xbox 360. If you both have like Destiny or something, you guys can play together because we're all on the same live servers." So that was cool.
And then again, just like some people is like with some games, they're going to be on both consoles. Most of the time, it's going to look much better on a PlayStation than on an Xbox because PlayStation has better hardware than the Xbox.
I beg to differ because the Xbox is basically made with computer grade parts, so I would think that they'd have a better chance at being a really good looking game.
Actually, not. They have less hardware compared to the actual PlayStation.
IGN actually puts pictures of every console's version of the game, It's the same thing. There is
Really?
so
Yeah.
there is it's so minute that you have to actually stare at them to know the difference. I there's no difference.
But old Snake has 4 more hair follicles on his chin.
He has 4 pieces of stubble more.
It's mainly because just the difference if one of the consoles has a lesser quality, it's mostly going to be the Xbox, and then you also have the chance with basically being 720 instead of 1080.
Yeah,
That's where the vibe comes from.
There's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, but I watched E3 and the Xbox and the PlayStation versions were just awesome looking. Like I couldn't even tell the difference.
They're running
like,
it on computers.
they're running it on a PC. I hope you know that.
Yeah. People don't understand that. They don't get that.
That's why when people are like, I paid a lot of money for this, why is it not looking the same as it looked back then? Because you're not playing it on a fucking computer, guys. You're not playing it on a high-end computer. Like they were.
Well, that's not cool.
So
That's advertising.
what are your ideas? What are your thoughts on the Steam box?
It's... go ahead.
I haven't heard anything about it, frankly, to be honest.
Steambox is basically companies like NVIDIA and all the people that make graphics cards and computer texts and stuff. It's basically a console version of your Steam OS that's just on a console that is in your living room. You know that big picture mode that we have on our PCs?
Yeah, I
it's
know that.
To be honest, save yourself the money. Don't get a Steam box. Just get
My
that
computer.
thing that's coming out for I think like $100. It lets you stream from your computer to anywhere in the house.
Or
If
capture card as well?
It's I forgot what it's called. If you don't want to stream like from your laptop, you could actually stream it to your television,
Yeah.
and you could play off your television from your computer.
Wireless HDMI is all that is.
It's pretty much that's what it is, and you could just do that. Play your television from your computer. You know, save yourself whatever it's $500-$600 instead of getting it. I mean,
Take that $500-$600, put it
send it to
towards
hell.
a brand new PC. And seriously, put it towards a new PC, because if you want a good gaming experience that you can use your Xbox One or Xbox 360 controller for, go get a PC. Get a PC.
Get a PC.
Get a PC.
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 PC Master Race.
PC.
Master
PC Master
Race. So yeah, I just love my Xbox. Love it to death. I actually moved my PlayStation 4 down here to the basement because I don't use it as much.
He needed a footrest, guys. His feet were getting very, very tired underneath the desk. He had to have a footrest underneath the desk.
I just feel bad. I mean, I want to play the PlayStation 4, but the only thing they have really good that I have is Last of Us, which is an excellent game. It really is. But
but it's a game that means nothing. It's a glorified power trip to kill zombies. That's all.
yeah,
And people.
it's a
You get to kill
glorified
zombies.
Walking Dead.
It's Walking Dead, but with a little girl.
All right, so let's wrap this up until our next Coffee Talk, which we will have a better topic. But this one was just tossing it in there. Anything else you want to toss in there before we end it up?
Nope, all good.
Donations can be sent to Halvanis at twitch.tv/Halvanis for a new PC.
Yes.
Now you got all your alerts and everything.
I do. I got alerts set up now.
Uh-oh.
So when somebody follows or donates, everybody gets to see it.
All right, so we're out of here. Until next week. Later, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.